Now see, if I write anything in HTML, see, just tell me if anything you write in a notepad and store it with the extension .java, it will be a Java file. If I store it using .html, it will be HTML file. So don't think that HTML only stores .txt file. Our normal notion is that yeah, we have been using for ages and we just used to store .txt file. No, a notepad is just an environment where you can write your lines of sentence or words. But when you store that particular file with an extension, like if you store it at .java, then it will be a .java file. If you store it at a .html, it will be a .html file. Okay. Okay. So what I can do is I can just create a HTML file. I can show it in the browser also. But for now, I am giving explanation, so I am showing in notepad so that you could have a clear understanding what is the particular definition of each of the web element present in the web page. Okay, now see, if I'll store it as save as just make it all files and give here as HTML. Okay, so once you give the extension as .html means it get converted to HTML file. So once you save it, you'll see. See, test demo is converted to HTML file. See, type is HTML file. So what I can do, you can open it in a Chrome browser. As it is HTML file, you can open it in a browser. See, test demo.html, as nothing was there, so nothing is opened. It's a blank page. Okay, as you are getting. So if I want to edit it, what I can do is open with Notepad, so I can edit what is written there. Now let's go to each of the definition of the wave element. So wave element, what is wave element? Let's tell me. Now you see here, you see some of the this particular whole area is called web page, and each of the element you see, that is go to meeting is one web element, secure stay site is one web element, try again is one element, support is one element, this cross button is one element. Everything present in the web page is one web element. Okay, so just remember this term. So we'll be using this term going forward. Every element or a single, let's say if I do it, you'll understand more easily. Inspect. See, this is the whole HTML definition of this whole page. Okay, so you'll see this is one web element, this is one element. Every web element combined to form a web page. Every single and small things present in this web page is a web element. Okay, got my point? Yes, no?
Yes.
Okay, now see. Now I want to create a text box. Okay, I want to create a text box, and what I will do, I'll use input tag. Okay. Okay. Leave it. Now see, we'll create an input tag. So in the input tag, we can have a text box. Okay. Now see, now you need to understand what all these things are called. Okay. Let me open Paint. Always remember the terms, because going forward we'll be using the terms to like denote it. So always remember what is called in the terms. If I write in horizontal text here, I'll type mm, text box. Okay. Now see what are called what. This particular is called HTML tag. HTML tag of that HTML definition. Okay. This is called HTML tag. Okay. What is this called? Attribute. This is called attribute. Attribute is optional. You can have it or could not have it, but in some cases it is mandatory, like say in which like input tag is used for text box, button and checkbox. There you need the attribute and attribute value definition to differentiate. Yes, this one is text box, this is checkbox, this is radio button. So some cases these attribute are mandatory. Okay.
Mm, didn't get this, Pratik. Please. Sorry.
See, even if you like what I'm telling is that this is called attribute. Just I'm creating, you will understand. Okay, now see, this is called HTML tag. This is called the attribute. This is the attribute value. Okay, got my point?
Yeah, yeah. Yes, Pratik.
And this is the visible text, and this is the HTML tag closing or what? This is HTML tag opening. This is HTML tag
Hmm.
closing. Okay. Now, see, input denotes like this is the field area of the HTML which will take a input. So, in which way it will take the input, that type attribute will define. Okay. The input can be taken in either text box, either button, either checkbox, or radio button. Any of these four is a type of input, right? It can take input in any of these four ways. But how to differentiate it? It is a text box, a radio button, checkbox. I'll be giving the attribute type and its value as anything which I want to denote. Got it? It will be more clear once I define it. See, still have doubt. Still have doubt. See, once I see a text area is created. Okay, why? Because I gave type is equal to text. Still doubt?
Clear.
Clear, right? Then the similar thing also I'll be using again. Okay, the similar thing I'll be using again to create a button. So you got it right. What is called what? This is called HTML tag. This is called attribute. This is called attribute value. And if anything is present inside the tag, that is called visible text, which is not present here now. This is called visible text, and this is called input. That is the closing of the HTML tag. Okay.
Yes.
So if we want, we can create a visible text here. Like here you can give, see, there are only 5 6 predefined tags like which needs to follow that. This is for input text, you need to give input. But if you want only visible text, there is nothing. You can give anything. You can give your name also. You can give Anil and create HTML tag, not an issue. So we'll not go much deep into all this HTML. I'm just showing you a basic idea so that you can use it to write the XPath. Okay. See, username, the visual text appeared here. Visual text means the text which will appear in the web page. Okay. So I have used username, so it got appeared, and after that I have given a text area, so text area appeared, and after that, and BR is for breaking the line. Okay, BR is breaking the lines means if I weren't given here, this would have been appeared here. So I want it to appear in the next page, so it appeared here. Okay, so BR input button. So it's a button. Button means you can click. Okay, guys, you are getting clear, right?
Yes. Yes, Pratik.
See, if you want anything that to be displayed inside the button, you can use this value attribute and give that particular value. So that will be displayed inside the button. Okay. So for checkbox, I'll be using type is equal to checkbox. See. Okay. So this is checkbox. You can still you can unselect it. So this is a checkbox. Similarly for radio button, what you can have is, see, I gave here the visible text. That's why the visible text appeared here. Okay, in all this thing, I was not giving any visual text, so visual text was not appearing here. Got my point? So this is how you make a visual text appear. Yeah, ask.
Oh no, yeah, got it.
Okay. People are not joining. It's winter, they're sleeping or what?
Yeah, could be the reason. Like there were several members, right? None of them are
Yeah,
joining in last few
yeah.
sessions.
10 members are there. Don't know why they're gone.
Yeah, not sure why.
Okay. So if I use type as radio, so you'll see a radio button will appear. See, radio button. Okay. Now link. You must have seen there are hyperlinks in a page. So for that, what you can use is A, and the attribute href will define which link it will open. Okay. So you can give a visual text here. It will show you the same thing. Open. See, it showed me open Google, and it was converted to a hyperlink because I use A, and the HWW Google means it, if I'll click it, it will open the google.com. This particular link will be open. So it is given in href. Okay. Now, yeah. Okay.
No,
Now comes the important. Uh, so for drop down, like, can you tell me how what are the types of drop down you have encountered till now, till date in your web page? Just
no, like which will have some values, like fixed values. It will have drop downs, a different set of
have you ever heard of single drop down and multiple drop down?
like
Okay.
dependent drop down you are talking about. Like if we
Yes.
select this in drop down, the next will appear.
Yes. That's multiple drop down. And this is an interview question. They will ask you what is the HTML definition difference of a single drop down and a multiple drop down. So we'll see. We'll see it. Okay. That's an interview question now. This is an important concept. See, see. So select statement is used to like define that yes, a drop down will be created in the web page, but the values which will be present inside that will be present inside option tag. Okay. Let's say I want another value. What I can do is I can create another option tag, and that must be present inside the select tag. Goa, or you say any place. So now you run it, you see three values will be there. Okay, so as much value you can populate, it will be there. Now comes multiple drop down. So this is a single drop down. Okay, single drop down means you can select a single value from the drop down. That is called single drop down. But what is multiple drop down? Let's see. Let's okay. Let's say these are the one more country I'm adding. Let's see. Okay, now see, this is a list of the country. So for making a drop down multiple, so what I'll be using is the multiple tag, multiple attribute is equal to true. Now I save it and I run it. See, this is a single drop down. That means I am able to select a single value at a time. But if it's a multiple drop down, what I can do, I can select multiple values from the drop down. So that is a multiple drop down. Multiple drop down is a drop down where I can select multiple value at a time. That is multiple drop down. Got my point?
Yeah, yeah.
And in interview they will ask you what is the difference, like what is the difference you can by which you can know this is a multiple drop down or this is a single drop down. So in multiple drop down, the multiple attribute will be there which is the value true. Then it's a multiple drop down. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Now comes the important. This is one important concept. Now there is another important concept. Table, web tables. That's very important concept. Let's see. Just remove it. Okay. Now I created a table. Okay. Now this whole table will be denoted by a tag table. Okay. Table will denote the whole table tag. Now inside the table, there can be a body or head. Okay. So see if there is something head, then it will be coming as a headline of this. So inside table, I will be having either head or T head. Any HTML definition will do. Okay. Either head or T head. Similar to that, this whole thing will come under T head. What will be writing in head or T head, that will coming as a like definition, like table of contents or anything you want, you can write. It will come as the heading of that particular table. And this particular thing will come inside body or T body. Okay. So, and after that, each row is your tr. That means this is one tr, this is one tr, means this is the HTML definition of this row. Okay, table row tr TR, and inside each TR there is TD. That means this is one TD, this is one TD, this is one TD. Similar to that, every cell or every cell present here is at 1 TD. Means this is the TD of this TR. This TR will contain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 TD inside it. Okay. So the whole table consists of one head and consists of one body, and inside that body there are multiple TR, and inside those multiple TR there are multiple TD. Clear? Now see, I will be creating a table, you will understand. Head or T head, anything I can use. Now see, inside body I can have multiple TR. Inside the TR I can have multiple TD, right? Let's say inside TR I have TD. One is name. Last. Okay. Now see, I created a table. So what I did is in first TR, okay, student details come. Okay, just 213. Just PR. See, is the heading which came for the table, that is student details. See, the heading student details came, After that the body came, and inside that body, this is my first row, that is tr. This one, this first row, whole total is the first row tr. Okay, this one only, name class age. Okay, this one is the first row which I have, and inside that my first td content names, the first td content name, then the second td content class, the third td content is similar to that. This is my second row tr, this whole row. Then after that my first column contain anil, then it contains 6, then it contains 12. Similar to that, this is my third row. Okay, and the first td contains sunil, then 9, then 14. Understood how table is defined in a web page,
Ha,
guys?
yes. Yes, Pratik,
Now,
understood.
okay, now there are two type of tables. Okay, there are two type of tables. One is static table, one is dynamic table. Okay, let's say for example there is a web page in which you can see some web page in the down, they have some information, software version 1.0 or license version 2.0. That means that particular rows and columns will always remain fixed. Only the value inside that, like software version maybe 1.0 this time, some days it will be 2.0, some days it will 5.0. The value present inside the cell will change, but the table structure and number of cells present in the table will remain same, right? So that is called static table, means in which the number of rows and columns remain same. That is a static table. But let's say for example in any of the commercial site, you are doing a e-commerce site, you are doing a shopping, so you'll see as much product you get added to the cart size increases, but the card is not is in backend, it's only a table in which the first td contain your product name, the second td contain your number of product, third td contain your product image, fourth td contain your price or something like that. Okay, so as you go on adding your product, the table size increases. That means that is a dynamic table. The number of rows which is present may vary with the number of rows which is present tomorrow. So that's a dynamic table in which the rows and columns are dynamic, they go on changing. So that's called a dynamic table, right? Got the difference between static and
Yeah.
dynamic table?
Hmm.
Okay, so this is all, and similar to that, there is a tag called IMG, which will denote a image tag. Okay, like say for example, there is a web page which has a logo for your company or logo for your something, anything it contains. So it will be denoted in the image tag, and it will have a source folder in the cloud from which it will pick up that image. Okay, that I can show because that I don't have the access. So it will just start with the IMG tag. Okay. So this was a basic idea of XPath before starting or before proceeding to XPath. So you got a basic idea how this front-end UI works with it definition, because these all will be using while writing the XPath. If you are clear on this, then XPath will be very easy for you. Clear? No doubt till now?
No doubt.
Hmm. Okay. Now, so what is a XPath? So you understood HTML. Now see, I'll just make you understand the basic of XPath today. So we'll start XPath creation from next class. So I'm telling you what is XPath. Now see, let's forget about XPath. XPath is a it's come will after. So what is the locator? Okay. See, now there is a class, it has 60 students. Okay, now there is a class with 60 students, and if someone comes and want to search a particular student, so you need to have a locator. That means like say someone parent came and told that pass on this tiffin to that particular student, so he must have a specific name of that specific class, of that specific section, so that he or she means the attendant who he or she has given, he will pass on to that particular student. So this is a particular location. That means he has a particular identity through which it is getting located, right? Similar to that, each web element in the web page, like say for example, Selenium want to perform an operation on a particular web page, web element. So each web element need to have a particular identity to itself or particular locator value to itself, through which the Selenium can identically identify that particular web element and perform the specific tasks it want to perform. Okay, so there comes the role of locator, and inside locator there are multiple ways you can locate a particular web element. It can be through ID, it can be through name, it can through be XPath, it can be through CSS selector, it can through be link text or partial link text, class name, tag name. But the most genuine means, you can say the most authentic way we follow is XPath, because it may that locator value using XPath will be less affected if the position of the web element changed from top to bottom, or the means it is the most reliable one of all the locators. That's why everyone use XPath in day-to-day life. But yes, that's not the only way. You can use a multiple locators present, but normally we use XPath. Okay, so now coming to XPath also. XPath are two. This is the interview question. Remember, what are the type of XPath? XPath can be absolute XPath or it can be relative XPath. Okay. Now, what is absolute XPath? Let's say, for example, I want to identify this open Google. Okay, which is present here. A. I want to identify this particular web element. Okay. Now you must be knowing that parent and child concept in this HTML. See, for this option, the immediate parent is select because it is present inside the select tag. Okay, for this option tag, the immediate parent is select tag because it is present inside the select tag. Now, for this select tag, the parent is HTML. That means the HTML is grandparent of this option tag. Similar to way this HTML follows a tree structure. That means parent-child structure. Okay. Now, if I want to identify A, okay, and if I'll identify this particular A from the root, that means from HTML, which is the starting of this particular web page. From there, if I go on one by one, and come and identify this A, then that is called absolute XPath. That means when the XPath is read from parent to child, okay, that is absolute XPath. Got my point? But
Yeah,
if you say, if I identify A without depending on its parent and anything, directly with its value I am identifying it, with its own characteristics I am identifying it, then it is called relative XPath. That means whenever the XPath is written using backend attribute directly, it is known as relative XPath. So tell me, in real time, which will be using absolute XPath or relative XPath?
absolute, because it will be easier to find it, because sometimes you won't be knowing the exact if we go for relative we won't be knowing that what exactly contains over there, or it could be a changing value.
No, in real time you will be using relative XPath. Why? That is also reason. See, if I identify this particular, let's say for example, if I identify this option using this visible text India, okay.
Hmm.
So, and tomorrow I have identified using absolute express. That means I have identified HTML, then select, then option, and I identified each. If I identifying it using absolute express, but if I'm identifying it using relative express, I will identify it using this value India. Okay. Now let's say tomorrow this select tag get vanished, or the developer removed it. So my absolute expert will not work because the value, one of the value which is present inside it is not there in this particular HTML. So it will not work. But if I have used relative expert using the value India, that will be there only. So it will work. So that's why we don't use absolute expert. We use relative expert in day-to-day life. Understood?
हाँ हाँ प्रतीक.
Yeah. So absolute, this is an important question. Remember it. What are the type of expert and what are the difference? We have absolute expert and relative expert. Absolute expert is the expert which we write directly from the parent to child. Then it is called absolute expert, and relative expert is when we are directly using its backend attributes to identify it. That is relative expert. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the basic of like how to write HTML and what is automation testing and what is relative absolute expert. So next class will be directly writing expert. Okay.
Okay.